We're back here, the whole 9 yards, on a whatever today is, Thursday afternoon. Brandon, it's been about a week since you were last recorded. Big day today. Opener. Cowboys, Bucs. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. If you could see my shirt, it's a Cowboys shirt. But yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't the Cowboys playing today, I think I'd be excited anyways. I mean, it's the start of football, so it's always exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's definitely my favorite sport for a reason, at least to watch. I think it is. I think it's many people's favorite
Yeah,
sports to watch for sure. But we're just gonna. I mean, we'll just get into it, I guess.
yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk about the game tonight, and then we also have picks for the rest of the games on Sunday. That will be fun. But I guess starting with tonight's game. It seems like everyone's going with the Bucs in this game. I won't say that I'm. I mean, obviously, I'm rooting for the Cowboys. Do I think they'll win? I'd say they probably have. They probably have a 40 to 50% chance of winning tonight. I would say. I think a lot of stuff has to go right for them. And I'm not even really worried about the offense. It's about the defense. I think that if they can hold them to less than 25 points, I think we have a real shot at winning. But I somewhat doubt that they can do that. I guess we'll see how Tampa looks. I think that's also another question. Like, are they going to be rusty? Are they going to look good? Obviously, they have all their starters back, and that obviously helps. But are they going to be as in sync as they were in the playoffs last year, or how they ended last year in the regular season? I don't know. I guess we don't know until the game starts. But if we can hold them to under 25, I think we have a really good shot because I think even though the Bucs defense is good, I think they have a lot of weaknesses. And I think that with our wide receiver core and Dak being back, obviously, I think that we can exploit those by going deep a lot. And I think that's going to be a real key to the game if we have the chance to do it. If our offensive line holds up, obviously Zach Martin's not. I don't think he's playing tonight. I think they said he was out, but then there was a chance he could play. I guess I could look it up, but I think he's not playing tonight, which hurts, obviously. But if there's time in the pocket, I think that we can hit him deep, and we can probably put up points. But again, it's all about the defense, at least for me. So
It's really hard not to pick the Buccaneers in this game. I mean, coming off obviously the Super Bowl win, first week opening game, the Cowboys just everything kind of went wrong for them last year, and everything went right for the Buccaneers last year. And we're not watching every single practice, all of training camp. I mean, I guess the Cowboys we kind of did a little bit at least, but I can't find myself to pick the Cowboys to win the game. That being said, the spread is 9. The Bucs are favored by 9 points, so you could definitely go Dallas plus 9. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with the Bucs. To me, their offense is still. I think they probably have a better wide receiving core than than the Cowboys right now. Maybe that changes throughout the year. I still think I'd rather have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin over Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb right now. Maybe by week 7 that's different.
well, and Michael Gallup. I mean,
Sure. I would rather have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. If we want to involve the tight ends, we can involve the tight ends too. I think that helps the Buccaneers a little bit.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's Gronk and who's the other guy? Who's the rookie? Or not the rookie, but the guy
OJ Howard.
OJ Howard, yeah. Like he was injured last year, which didn't help. So I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't know. I think wide receiver core. I mean, I like Mike Evans. I've always liked Mike Evans, but he is very hit or miss. To be fair.
Yeah. No, I actually don't. I've never been big on honestly many of the Bucs receivers. I like Godwin a lot, but Mike Evans, I would agree, is very hit or miss. I think he's probably overrated. Honestly, he's a red zone threat, but he's gonna grab 50-50 balls. How consistent is he? Is he in the middle of the field? Still not very consistent. He's not a consistent. Gonna get you 80 yards on 8 catches for a touchdown every day. He's not gonna do that. I mean, some days he'll go off. Some days he'll be just not there. But yeah, regardless, I mean, that's a strength for both teams. Quarterback, I still think right now I'd rather have Brady. But
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard not to say that you'd want Brady just because of what he's done, but I'm curious. I'm very excited to see how Dak's going to look. I mean, obviously he didn't play in the preseason at all, so I think he'll look pretty good. We have to see what happens when he gets under pressure. I mean, like he's never been afraid to take a hit, obviously, but just with the injury that's happened, like I wonder how much he's going to run this year, or even I mean just this game, but this year. Obviously that's where he got hurt last year, was on a run. So, and that is somewhat of a part of his game because he is very mobile, but I wonder how much he's going to run this year, like I said, because of the injury. But if that pressure gets to them, Sue got reinstated off the COVID IL, or the COVID whatever. So he's playing this game. Obviously, you have JPP, Shaq Barrett's obviously back too. So they still have that monstrous front line that they had last year that killed the Chiefs with a bad offensive line, and our offensive line is good. But like I said, Zach Martin's not playing. Tyron Smith was injured all last year. Lyle Collins was injured all last year. A second-year guys are starting center, and then Connor Williams is our left guard. And then right guard, it's going to be Connor McGovern, who was injured. He played a little bit last year, but was injured the year before, or was rather injured all of last year. So it's not the best offensive line right now. So I do wonder how it's going to hold up tonight against the Bucs.
It's definitely no 2016-ish.
Yeah.
Cowboys offensive line.
Yeah.
Buccaneers offensive line should only be getting better, I think. I mean, we'll see, but the rookie that they drafted last year, Tristan
Wirfs,
should only be getting better. They don't really have any super old pieces on the offensive line, really. Defensively, I mean, I don't really know what to expect from the Cowboys. I mean, you would know more than I would on the Cowboys' defensive side. The Buccaneers defensively, I think they're also pretty hit or miss defensively. I mean, is JPP / Ndamukong Suh / whatever else you have, Shaquille Barrett. I feel like a lot of those guys are, I mean, they had a huge run in the postseason, but regularly they're pretty hit or miss, honestly. I feel like JPP was never a guy that anybody really considered to be a threat until he just randomly started going off in the postseason. Ndamukong Suh, I mean, there's a reason that he's pretty much had to sign one-year contracts for the past, 4 years or whatever it is at this point.
Yeah.
And Shaquille Barrett had a nice run. He gets some sacks, but until the postseason, he was never a guy that I considered to be an elite rusher, and I don't even know if he is right now. I mean, we'll see. I'd like to see more games than the 4 or whatever from the postseason. Linebacking core, I mean, with Devin White, Levante David, I'm not scared. I'm not worried about that if I was a Bucs fan. And the secondary is scary still. I think it's still relatively young, unproven. So we'll see. There could be some sophomore slumps, maybe from Winfield or maybe from whoever. So
yeah, and that's the weakness I was talking about, because if the Bucs aren't getting pressure on you, like that was the biggest thing last year, was that their secondary wasn't getting torched because they had so much pressure on the quarterbacks in the postseason last year. So if they're not going to play like that, and I think that was some of their struggle in the regular season last year, was that they weren't getting super pressure all the time until they started ramping it up more, and they were getting exposed defensively, which obviously hurts your offense. So if we can just hold them back with we know the blitz are going to come with Bowles as the defensive coordinator, so if we can hold those blitzes back and just give Dak time, I think, like I said, I think we have a real shot at winning. But it seems like a lot of stuff has to go right for the Cowboys to win, and less stuff has to go right for the Bucs to win. And usually when that's the case, the team that needs less things to go their way usually wins. So I think it'll be a close game. Defensively for us, I mean, I'm excited to see Micah Parsons play. They talked about in the last Hard Knocks episode on Tuesday night, about, facing Brady and what he's going to do to you with the mind games and on the line, all that talk. So I'll see how he plays. It seems like he's kind of like the defensive leader on our defense, which is crazy to think about. Obviously, he hasn't even played a real game yet, and he's the guy calling plays out, it looks like. So we'll see how he is. We'll see how he plays. I expect him to be pretty good, but we'll see if he does anything crazy. But other than him, I just need other guys to play well. But, again, that's asking a lot for our defense. So we'll see how it is.
Well, I mean, how good do you think the defense needs to be out of 31 other defenses for you guys to win the division, assuming the offense is what you think it will be?
Yeah, if the offense is top 5, which it should be technically, at least offensive rating-wise or whatever kind of metric you're looking at, it should be that. I think the defense has to be at least top 16. It has to at least be half,
To win
just
the
average.
division?
To win the division, even probably with the division, because I think the Giants and Washington will have at least top 10 defenses, right? So I know their offenses are going to be less, but I think their defense are going to win them games where the point where, if like the problem last year was that our defense was giving up 40 points a game. So no matter how many points we were scoring, we were 1-3 when Dak got injured, even though he was averaging 400 yards in the passing game and throwing like 4 touchdowns a game, we were 1-3 when he got injured. So if your defense isn't going to at least hold people to like under 25, 30 points, it's just impossible to win games no matter how good your offense is. So as long as they're top 16 and they give up, 24 points a game, which I don't even know where that would have ranked last year. I guess I could look it up. But like as long as they could do that on a consistent basis, I think that's good enough. Obviously you want that to be like under 20, but that's just not going to be the case with this team. So I think under 20, to around 24 is a good number.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
And the rush defense has to be better. That was our biggest weakness last year.
That sounds good to me. Do you want to get into the 5 games that we have?
Yeah. Do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
I'll go first. So last year we did, the 5 games each week. We would just pick, against the spread who we think's got the advantage. 5 games every week, and we're gonna do something for the loser at the end of the season. We don't really know what yet, but we'll do something. So there is at least something on the line. Nothing like super crazy, obviously, but at least something. Last year, I think I had a slightly better record than you did.
I think it was way better.
It was probably way better, but neither of our records were insane. I think I finished exactly 500 or something around that, maybe slightly higher or slightly lower. I could pull it up later, but we'll just get into it. So and last year we didn't do a full 2020 to 2021 season.
Yeah.
This year will be full 17 week. So yeah, my first game starting off close to home here with Dolphins at Patriots. The Patriots are favored by 3 points. And I'm going to go to New England here. I think New England is just the better team in general. I think people have been a little bit sleepy on New England just because last year they were 7-9. They weren't flashy. Cam Newton was going to be the starter until now he's not the starter. I think Mac's a better quarterback. I wasn't super high on Mac. I'm still not like super, super high on Mac, but he's definitely better than Cam 100%. He's more my style of quarterback too. Cam was not going to work. He didn't work last year. I had high hopes for Cam last year. It didn't work out. This year I expect something completely different with Mac. Not to mention the free agent acquisitions. I didn't love the free agent acquisitions, but there's no doubt that they're going to at least help. And Judon looks amazing. The defense, to me, if the defense is not top 3, I would be disappointed. This should be a top 3 defense in the league, if not number 1 or number 2, really. Especially with Belichick as the head coach, they really should be number 1. They're at home. The Patriots typically have success at home versus the Dolphins. And honestly, I don't really like the Dolphins at all. I mean, I think they're going to get worse than they were last year. And last year they were kind of a fringe playoff team, and people had high hopes for them this year. And I honestly don't think they're going to meet those hopes. I mean, you can talk about it with Tua, them cutting all their captains, a lot of stuff. So I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah. First game I'm going with is the Cowboys and the Bucs. The line's 9 in favor of the Bucs, but I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. Like I said, I don't have supreme confidence that they're gonna win the game, but I don't think they're gonna get blown out. First game, there's always going to be mistakes and rustiness that happens for both teams. So I'd be surprised if they get blown out, and I don't think they're as bad as a team that would get blown out to the Bucs anyways. But I think it'll be close. I think it probably will. I think it'll be a somewhat high-scoring affair. I think it'll probably get into the 30s, at least upper 20s. I'd be surprised if it didn't, just because of the offenses like we were talking about. But, yeah, I think 9 is just a big number, and I don't think they're that bad to lose by double digits to them, unless there's like a late touchdown. Again, that could always happen in any game, so it's kind of hard to predict that. But I think it's going to be a close game, especially first game of the year and everything. I think it'll be a close game. So, yeah, I'm taking Dallas plus 9.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just I didn't want to pick that game because I am scared of the late touchdown in that game that
Yeah.
kind of puts it away. And I think it will end up being probably I don't know, but I don't know. My next game is Niners at Lions. Detroit are 7.5 point underdogs at home. And I'm gonna go with Detroit. First off, I hate Detroit. Detroit is a bad team. They're gonna be probably one of the worst teams in the league. I'm not a big Dan Campbell fan. I'm not a big Jared Goff fan. I don't like anything about this team, and I don't know how anybody could like anything about this team. But 7.5 points is a really big spread for Week 1 of the NFL season. How good are the Niners going to be? How good is Jimmy going to look? How good are the people coming off injuries going to look? How good is the secondary going to look for San Fran? These are questions that I don't know the answer to. And the Lions typically play really well in the first 4 weeks of the season. Do they always win those first 4 weeks of the season? No. Are there typically some controversial decisions that make them 1-3 instead of 2-2? And there goes the Lions' playoff hopes. Even though they would never have made it in the playoffs anyways. There are typically some seasons like that. If you remember the holding call on Trey Flowers or the hands to the face one, that was 2 years ago, I want to say. Maybe last year. I don't really remember anymore.
You also had the Falcons game where you got, stopped at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago. Yeah, they've had a lot like that, yeah.
But they typically do have stuff like that, and I think 7.5 is a lot for Week 1. Maybe it's not that much because we'll talk about another 7.5 point spread that I'm actually taking the favored team with later, but to me this is a lot, and I don't think the Niners are that proven right now.
Yeah, I mean, my next game is that game, the Niners and the Lions, and I think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Niners are going to kill the Lions, and I don't really. You said you think it's too much. I think it's a little too. I think it's a little too little, actually. And I know the Lions are the home team, so maybe that's why. But for the Cowboys and Bucs to be 9 and this to be 7.5, I think that's just completely wrong. I think that if you look at the two teams to compare them, I think that you clearly can see that the Lions are a worse team than any of those other teams, and then the Niners and the Bucs. I think there's somewhat of a gap, but not a crazy amount to where they wouldn't even be favored as much as them. But I think the Niners are going to destroy him, like I said. I do agree that the Lions usually play well at the beginning of seasons, but that's when they had Matt Stafford and he was trying to carry them to wins. And now they don't have Matt Stafford. They have Jared Goff, who we know. I mean, he won games in LA, but was that really because of him? It was because of McVay and the defense and the weapons around him and the system he was in. I think we all understand that. So I just think that the Lions aren't a good team. They have no offensive threats at all. I mean, I really cannot name one threat that they have on their offense. So I don't see how they're putting up points against the Niners defense. It's completely healthy again after last year. And then Garoppolo is going to be the quarterback for Week 1. I just think they'll destroy him, honestly. So yeah, I'm taking Niners 7.5. I think it's easy.
Interesting. My next game is Seahawks and Colts. Seahawks at the Colts. The Colts are 3-point underdogs, so the Seahawks are favored by 3 points, and I'm taking the Seahawks. I am a big Colts guy. I do like the Colts, but I think they have a lot of question marks, and I'm not sure how much time they've really gotten in training camp to gel. And the Seahawks are a team I'm a fan of. I wouldn't be surprised if they won the West, even it being so competitive with the Niners and the Rams and even the Cardinals, who are still probably the best fourth place team in all of football for the past, however many years, honestly. I'm going to take the Seahawks. Russell Wilson is just, to me, I think he's going to have his MVP year. I think last year was the year it kind of fell off. I think this year is his year. I really do. I don't know who else it would be. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of other guys, but narrative-wise, I think it makes sense. I'm going to go with Russell Wilson to win this game. By more than 3.
By more than 3, yeah. Is Carson Wentz playing in that game? Is that known yet or no?
Yeah.
He is playing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really looking at that game at all, but I was just curious. I knew there were reports that he may or may not play, but that was from a couple days ago. So, but for my next game, I have Broncos at Giants. The line is -3 Denver, and I agree with it. I'm going with Denver as well. For some reason, I really like the Broncos, and I think we talked about this last episode, but it just seems like the Broncos are always a team that has all the talent. You just look at key positions on their team. I guess you could say besides quarterback, but they always just have talented guys. It always seems like they're deep. They always have. I mean, I know their coach isn't great. I don't love him either, but it seems like they always have that that Bronco mentality. That I think is always a good thing. So I just think that, and then again, they're not playing the toughest opponents. The Giants, we kind of agreed on this. I don't think Daniel Jones is good at all. The defense is good for sure, and the Giants do usually play well in that first week of every season. But I just think the Broncos are going to win. I think it's going to be a close game for sure. I mean, when you have Teddy Bridgewater as your quarterback, you're not going to put up tons of points. But he's going to be consistent. He's going to make right decisions. He's not going to make dumb decisions, put your team in a bad position. So I think because of that, and the other quarterback who's most likely going to put his team in a bad position at some point in this game, if not multiple times, I think the Broncos just outwill the Giants, and I think they'll beat them by more than 3 points.
Interesting. My next game, Jets at Panthers. Carolina is a 4.5-point favorite at home. Am I reading this right?
Yeah, they're home.
A 4.5-point favorite at home. I think that's really small to me. I'm gonna go with the Panthers. I don't even know if I have to explain it really. I love Sam Darnold. I don't know if I love him, but I like him. Matt Rule, I still think he's not a proven head coach, but I think he's proven more than Saleh has. I think Darnold's proven more than Wilson has. I think talent around them. I mean, the Panthers' offense should be a good offense. It should be a top 16 offense if Sam Darnold plays average, which I think he definitely can do. So I have no reason to not pick the Panthers, and I think the Jets are a mess. Do they have anything around them offensively? Not really. I mean, Corey Davis? I mean, Corey Davis is like a wide receiver 3. I mean, he's not a slot guy, but like he should be your third best receiver on a team if you're going to be a good offense. And the Jets defensively have also had injuries to start the year, and they should be all right defensively, but there's no way they're going to be good enough to beat the Panthers, and I think 4.5 is really small. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey, obviously, and the defense should be good enough, so I'm going to take the Panthers.
Yeah, that was a game I was looking at as well. I would have taken the Panthers if I did take the game. Maybe I probably should have taken the game because I think it's pretty easy. I think they will win by more than 4. But that was a good pick, though. My next one, Bears at Rams. The line is 7.5 in favor of the Rams, and I'm going with the Rams. I almost kind of want to see how fast Justin Fields is put in as the quarterback for the Bears. So I wonder if they get blown out. And that game's also Sunday. Is that Sunday night? I think that's Sunday night. Sunday night game. So obviously, technically, I guess the second nationally televised game like that, but the first Sunday night game of the season. I just want to see how fast the Bears get absolutely demolished. Dalton looks terrible. Their offense looks just completely disastrous, and then how fast people, on Twitter and the broadcast, the Bears fans, whatever, want Fields in. So I'm kind of hoping for that, and I do think the Rams will kill them anyways. They're a completely better team. They're one of the better teams in the NFL. The Bears are not, especially with Dalton as their quarterback. So I think that the Rams will, pretty much blow them out, I would say. I'd be very surprised if they didn't blow them out.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams 7.5 too over the Bears. That's also one of my games. I'm not a huge Matthew Stafford fan. There are people that love Stafford, like ride or die by Stafford. I'm not that person, but to me, this is more about the Bears just not being a good team. I think if I did my NFL tier list again right now, I would have the Bears on probably the bottom tier. I think they're horrible. Dalton is probably better than people think he is, maybe. I think people think he's probably like straight trash. I don't think he's like horrible, but everything around him is pretty bad. I agree. I wonder how fast Justin Fields will see the field. He might see the field week 2. I don't think he's going to see the field week 1 unless it's a blowout and it's trash time, but I wouldn't even really count that. That's just you throw your backup in there no matter what anyways. He may see the field week 2 as a starter. Honestly, if the Rams do win by more than 7.5, Matt Nagy's gone. I don't see him coming back next year. I don't even think he's a bad head coach, but I just no. And I think the Rams are just an elite team, elite defense, and theoretically they should have a top 10 offense. So,
like I said, I agree completely. And for my last game, I'm going with probably, I don't even know why I picked this game, but I'm going with the Jaguars and the Texans.
That's one of the most exciting matchups for Week 1.
No, it is. It is actually. I mean, you don't want to see Tyrod Taylor start.
I'm looking for. I mean, these two teams should theoretically be in the conference championship if all goes well.
Yeah.
No injuries, probably.
I mean, everyone's talking about the Titans and the Colts for that division, but they should really be talking about the Jaguars and the Texans.
Yeah, Urban Meyer, I mean, listen, he's done a lot in college, and he split reps between Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew just to trade Gardner Minshew for like a 6th-round pick. I've heard a lot about things about Urban Meyer. I think the Jaguars could actually seriously, getting on a serious note here, I think they could be bad. And I think this could be Urban Meyer's like one and done in the NFL year. I think it could be that.
It could happen. It could. I wouldn't be if they were to go like 1-16 or 2-15 and just look bad. I really wouldn't be surprised. But I mean, I have them starting 0-1 actually. Even though technically, I guess the Texans could lose by 1 or 2 points, but I'm gonna have the Texans actually winning this game. They were, like I said, they were +3. I don't know. I just think that in the wake of everything that's happened with the Texans, how bad they are for one. I mean, they are a terrible team. But just everything with the Watson thing, everyone leaving, talking all this, all bad things about the Texans. I think like it's just one of those games where they're going to come out and win, and then they'll probably maybe win one more game the rest of the season, but they're going to win this game. And I think Tyrod Taylor's going to have a good game. I don't even know who the receivers are, to be honest, but
Texans?
Yeah.
Cooks.
Oh yeah, they still have Brandon Cooks. Yeah.
I think Cooks is a go for Week 1, but he was injured. But regardless, I mean, other than Cooks, I literally don't know either.
I mean, you got like David Johnson in the backfield. I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
but I don't know. It's just like one of those games where I think they'll just win. And then like the Jaguars, they won their first game last year against the Colts and then lost 15 straight. I think it could easily be a similar situation to that.
It could. I like what I've been watching and listening to other people talk about the Jaguars. They've had the Jaguars as like a not bottom tier team, like not a team that makes the playoffs, but a team that will compete in a lot of games and go like, 6-11. I don't think I see that for the Jaguars. They may go 6-11, but out of just because they get to play the Texans twice and maybe they get some lucky games. But I don't think this is a team that's going to be competing in every single game and just not win because they're at the end of the day they're just not as talented. I think they're a team that's going to look less talented and they're going to lose a lot of games and they're not going to be good. I love Trevor Lawrence. I think he was the 100% correct pick at number 1. But, I mean, this is just a bad team. It's a bad team. So,
yeah, I just checked our notes about the over-unders, and I went over for the Jaguars at 6.5. So,
what do you mean?
Like, the Jaguars are 6.5 wins. I went over for them, and I think I may have made a mistake there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. I don't see them going over 6.
Yeah, because I kind of just thought about it right now, and I was about to say I don't see them winning over 4 games, and then I went to go check what our over-unders were to make sure I wasn't, saying anything that would have contradicted what I said before, and I would have. So I may want to change that. I won't change it because we already made it official and everything, but I wish I went under on that one.
Yeah. So one thing we actually do have to do is award predictions that we never did.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do it right now, we could do it right now.
Yeah.
Or we could. Okay, I was gonna say.
Let's do it right now. And I will be back.
Look.
We'll be back in I'll cut straight to it, but we'll be back in about 2 seconds.